Hi, welcome to Thiru Academy. Today we are going to discuss about Spring Boot microservices. Okay, here this is the user and department service and student service are the services in our microservice architecture, acting as business layer. Okay, this is the API gateway and all are the services. API gateway, department service, student service, all are services, right? These are registered with service registry. Okay, this is acting as server. All the services will register with service registry. Okay, and these services, whatever the request we are sending to either a department service or student service, these requests are passing through API gateway. Okay, then we whatever the common properties in that services, we are going to store that properties in cloud config. This is cloud config server is explaining about cloud config, and that we are using to store our properties. We are now in this example we are going to store our properties in Git. Okay, from there we'll read that properties and we'll use in our all services. Okay, finally we are going to trace our application. I mean we are sending a request, right? The request is traversing through this service to this service. Like that we need to trace our requests, right? For that we are using Zipkin server. In addition to that, we are going to use resilience 4j. For example, we are sending request to student service. Internally, student service calling the department service to get that department number of the student. Okay, for that purpose, in some situations, in case department service is down, right? In that situation, we need to send that message. Service is down, please try after some time. We need to send some user defined message to user, right, to understand that what is the situation, is whether is server is down or something else is going to what went wrong. We need to communicate with user, right? For that purpose we are using resilience 4j to send that messages. Okay, here user is going to send requests to department service or student service. Okay, these requests should traverse through API gateway. Here in this diagram, API gateway, department service, student service, all are acting as clients. These clients are registered, need to register with server, that is service registry. Okay, service registry acting as server, all the request with is registered with service registry, and config server is also one service, need to register with service registry to act as client. Okay, what is the use of config server is we are going to store that common properties, whatever the common properties we are using in all services, those properties we are storing into one location, that is called Git. Some other options also there. In this example I am using Git. I will explain you by using Git. Okay, for got it, right? What is Zipkin? Zipkin is to trace our requests from where it is sending to which service we are sending to request. To get that path, to trace that logs, we are using Zipkin. Okay, here I will explain Zipkin with via jar file, not with Docker. I don't have Docker installed in my machine, so that I will explain with via installing jar file. Okay, I will explain with examples so that you can get more clarity on that Spring Boot microservices. Okay, here first we will create the department service, then we will create student service. By using REST template we will call the department service to get that data. See, first of all I have created the department service example. Okay, I will explain what are the properties I have taken, pom.xml file, coding, all I will explain. To reduce the time length of that video, I have already created this simple service. Okay, in department service I have taken that. See, Spring Boot data JPA I am using. Why? Because backend I am using a Oracle. So that we need to communicate with Oracle database, right? For that purpose, the Spring Boot starter data JPA dependency I have taken, and then Spring Web dependency I have taken. These are all web projects, right? Spring REST services we are creating. So we need to take that Spring Boot REST dependency. Okay. Then JDBC 8 Oracle driver dependency, this is okay. Then Lombok dependency I am using to avoid setters and getters. Okay, this is the dependencies I am taking in department service. Okay, when coming to properties, see, this is the data source URL, Oracle related data source URL, and that is JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon at slash localhost and 1521 slash ORCL. This is the data source URL. This ORCL you need to take it when you are installing Oracle database in your machine. Someone will take XE or some other name. Okay, I have taken ORCL. That's why I have taken this one. Okay. This is the username to connect with the database. This is the password, spring.datasource.password. This is the password I have taken. Okay, spring.jpa.show-sql true. Whatever the request will send. Okay, this is the communicating with the database, right? Internally Spring Boot is creating SQL queries, right? To show that SQL queries in console. Okay, I have taken this property, show-sql equal to true. Spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl-auto equal to update I have taken. For example, in real time, in database tables already created, right? Through Java application, we are communicating with database and we are updating the tables without creating table. Okay. To update that table, I have taken this update property. Spring.jpa.properties.hibernate.dialect. This is Oracle dialect class. org.hibernate.direct.oracle dialect to communicate with Oracle database. Based on that DB, it will change. This is for Oracle. Okay, port is 8080 port I have taken. Server.port. Application name I have taken like this. Spring.application.name. Department service I have taken like this. Okay. Yeah, saved. In coming to main class, department service application. This is the Spring Boot application. Annotation will come whenever we have created that application. This is the default class. Whenever application came, application created, it will automatically, this class will automatically generate like this. Okay. Then controller I have created like department controller name I have taken. @REST controller annotation I have taken. Why? Because @REST controller is we are creating that Spring REST services, right? To indicate that there is no UI for this application. We are @REST controller. This annotation indicates that there is no UI for this application, and this is the REST service indicating that. Okay, user can send requests with that department name. To specify that path name, we are using that @request mapping annotation. Path name we need to show here in that request mapping annotation. Okay, @AutoWired to provide that auto wiring for that service class, we are using that @AutoWired annotation. Internally it will taking care of auto wiring concept. By using that department service dot, we can call that the department service class methods. Okay, @post mapping. This annotation we can use to save some information in database. we are sending some data, right? Posting that data in database, storing that data, right? So that we are using @post mapping annotation, and path we are using here is save I am using. Okay, public department, save department is the return type, and save department is the method name I have taken. @request body, we are sending some data, right? Here we are testing using postman. Okay, through postman we are sending some body department information, we are sending in body, right? To collect that information we are using that @request body. Department type we are sending, so department name, we reference variable we are using like that. Return department service dot save department. Here is the save department method we have implemented like this. Okay, then I have created that get by id method. @get mapping annotation is useful to get the data from database. Okay, here @path variable I am using. What is the purpose of @path variable is, we are sending some the variable name we are sending, right? Single value we are sending, so that to collect that variable value @path variable I am using here. Okay, see, id we are sending, right? Path slash, here what is that, department slash id we need to send like that. In path we need to send like that. Okay, method is public department get department by id, and @path variable long id type is long. Okay, return department, total department object we are returning. Okay, department service dot get department by id, we are sending id and we are getting entire object, department object we are getting. Okay, then coming to service. Okay, before that we need to discuss about entity class department, right? In department I have taken that department id as long, and department name, address and department code I have taken. These are the properties. And id, what is the purpose of @id? Here we are not sending the department id. Internally Spring Boot will generate one id for this department id and will store it in database, right? For generating that id value we need to use that @generated value. Strategy type is generation type sequence I am using. If you want you can change others also. See, you have auto, identity, sequence, table, uuid, some other options also available. Here I am taking sequence. Okay, yes, sequence I am taking. Here is this is the entity object, right? So we need to send so we need to define @entity annotation. Here @entity and @id is the mandatory annotations we need to specify in entity class. Okay, this is Lombok, we have taken Lombok dependency, right, to avoid setters and getters. For that purpose I am using these two annotations, @allargs constructor and @noargs constructor. @data, these three belongs to Lombok dependency to avoid getters and setters. This is for noargs constructor, this is for all argument constructor, this is for setters and getters. Okay, then coming to service. Yeah, in service we are storing some data and we are getting some data, right? For storing some data, this is the method we need to use. Save department I am using, department of here we need to provide that repository layer auto wiring we need to provide, and this is service layer, right? To indicate that @service stereotype annotation we need to define. Instead of @service we can it is also possible to provide another annotation also. Okay, It's possible to use @component also. Okay, here we are providing auto wiring to department repository. Okay, this is the repository layer which we have created. Okay, this is the repository layer, right? To indicate that we need to provide that @repository stereotype annotation and entity class we need to provide, and that primary key ID type department ID we have taken, right, that type of that variable we need to provide here. Department service extends JPA repository. Why? Because we need to, why we have specified like this is to get that CURD. We are using CURD operations, right? In that CURD operations we are directly calling that department repository dot save find by ID, like that, right? To get that methods directly available in our repository, to call that methods we need to provide extends JPA repository here. Okay, fine. This is all about that service layer and repository layer. I think we have all completed the explanation about department service. I will run this application and I will show you how to insert and how to get that ID value, department value or object value. Okay, I am restarting the department service. See, department service is up and running with 8080 port. We'll test our department service through Postman. Okay, first of all I'll show you whatever the records available in department. Okay, see, this is the entity, right? TBL underscore department, that is the table name. Okay, we have already 4 records in this. We are going to insert one more row now. Okay, here http://localhost:8080 is the port and department /save is the endpoint URI we are using to save the record in the database, Oracle database. Post method we are using now. This is the department ID, sorry, yes, department name I am taking ECE and department address block 4-ECE, department code ECE-103 I am taking. I am sending that post request now. See, it is inserted and return that 200 status code. We'll see department ID, it is showing it is taking 3002. Okay, we'll verify in department table. Okay, 3002 department ID just now we have inserted, right? We need to get the department the object, right? Yeah, for that purpose I am using get method. Here is the endpoint URI we are providing, http://localhost:8080. This is a port. Department / we need to provide that ID, department ID we need to provide. I am changing that ID value here. See, get request we are sending and getting the department object value. Okay, entire department we have written, right? Status is 200. Okay, then fine. Department service is working fine now. Then coming to student service, I'll explain now. Okay, I'm closing all these classes, close all. Then department service. See, coming to form.xml, same dependencies what we have seen in department service, same dependencies I have taken here also. Okay, dependencies, Spring Boot, starter data JPA and web dependency I have taken, Oracle driver and Lombok dependency I have taken here also. Whatever we have taken in department service, same dependencies we have taken here also. I think same properties also same. Only one thing is different. This is application name is student service. There is department service we have taken. This is the data source URL, username, manager, show-SQL, DDL-auto, same properties. Okay, server dot port is changed. Why? Because with the same port number when we run, we will get the bind exception. So that have the changed this one. Student service is running with 8081 and department service is running with 8080 port. Okay. Okay. Then coming to student service main class. Whenever we have created application, one class is created, right? At that student service application, that is the class name, it is created at that Spring Boot application annotation. This is also automatically created whenever we have created that Spring Boot application. Okay, fine. Apart from that, here extra we are using is REST template, right? In this student service, that REST template object I have created here and providing as @bean annotation I have provided for that REST template. What is the use of @bean annotation? It will returns the bean object, and this object we are going to use in our application, and this bean object is managed by the Spring application context container internally. Okay, to specify that purpose we will create that bean here, and we are using that REST template in our application. Okay, this is going to return the bean object, simply saying. Okay, then coming to controller, student is the entity class here, student repository, student service, and department value object also we have created here. Why? Because I will tell you. Okay, this is the student is the entity class. First we will discuss about that. We have already discussed about these annotations and these annotations also. Okay, here for that student entity we have taken that table name as table underscore student I have taken, and these are the properties we are storing in database. Okay, student ID, first name, last name, email, department ID I have taken this one. Okay, department ID also we have taken here. Okay, and coming to controller, here we already discussed about this @REST controller, @request mapping. What is the purpose of these annotations we have discussed earlier, right? Okay, this is the Spring REST service, right? To specify that @REST controller annotation I have taken. @request mapping annotation is useful to specify the path of that endpoint URI. Endpoint URI is /student I have taken here. This is the Lagar dependency, we'll discuss later. Okay, here student service is the service layer, and we are providing that auto wiring for that student service from controller layer. We need to specify that @auto wired annotation to call that service layer methods. Okay, we have provided auto wiring like this way. Okay, and here main things are the save student, which is post mapping, and get mapping, and that method name is get student with department. Method name I have taken like this. First we will discuss about post mapping. To store some information related to student, we are using this method. Okay, student is the entity class and save student is the method name. @request body, we are sending some data related to student, right? To get that body information, we are using that @student body, and student is the entity class. This is the reference name. Student service dot save student, we are using the save student method names to store that to pass that information to service layer. That information means student information. Okay, here same way @get mapping annotation I am using to get that student information from database. Here we need to send that ID, right? Student ID, we need to pass that particular student information, we need to get it, right? This compatible future object we'll discuss later about this object, right? It is returning, finally it is returning string. Okay, here is at the rate path variable id annotation. We need to use that to get that id value whenever we are sending in the path URI. Okay, endpoint URI we are sending some information, right? id value. To get that variable value, we need to use that at the rate path variable annotation. And student service dot get student with department. This is the method we are using in service layer to get that information, id information. Okay, coming to service. Yes, this is the service layer, right? To indicate that at the rate service stereotype annotation we are using. Simply here also at the rate rest controller. This is the controller layer, right? To specify that we need to use at the rate rest controller. Okay, especially we are using REST endpoints, right? There is no UI for this application also. That's why at that REST controller annotation I have used here. Okay. One more thing, for repository layer we are providing that auto wiring information, and this is the base URL we are using to get that department information. We are using a department service is running with 8080 port, and here in same system I am running, right? That's why I am using localhost. Okay, http://localhost:8080 port, and department is the endpoint URI we have used in department service. That is, I am taking as base URL. Remember that. And at the rate REST template. This also we are using in this application, and we have provided bean object in for that REST template in at the rate student service application. Here we have provided. Okay, fine, we are directly using that REST template here. Okay, save student, we are storing that student information in database, and we are getting that student information from database with by providing id, student id. And here observe that student repository dot find by id method we are using to get that student information. Okay, in student information, whenever we are storing student information, we are passing department id, right? By using that department id, see here, whenever we get that student information in student object, we have department id also. By using that department id, we are getting that department information here by using REST template. REST template dot get for object is the method. See here, so many methods also there. Okay, whatever the method is suitable for our requirement, we need to use that method. Okay, here for our requirement I am using get for object method. Okay, here base URL we already taken here, http://localhost:8080/department base URL /id we need to pass, right? Student dot get department id. Here in student object we have department id. I am using that department id. Okay, for get for object it is taking two parameters. Okay, one is base URL and this, and the other one is class type it is taking. That's why I have taken department dot class object I have provided. Okay, it is returning that department object. Simply I have created one string buffer object to append that all information. Simply new line I have appended, student information I have appended, then new line. See, slash and specifies new line, right, in Java. Okay, then department information I have appended. Simply I am printing that information, buffer dot toString. I am printing that student information and department information and returning that string. Okay, fine. Here repository, student repository. See, student repository we use, right? See, to specify, to get that, sorry, in student repository, yes, this is a repository layer, right? So I have specified at the rate repository annotation here, and I didn't provided any methods here. Why? Because we are calling that simple methods, right? See, find by ID, save. Some other methods no need to specify explicitly. If you want to use some XXS methods, then you need to specify. For example, in student we have student find by ID. By default it will get student find by, it is taking student ID we are passing, we can call find by ID method. For example, find by first name you need to find, like that we need to if you want the data based on that first name, then you need to specify that xx, you have xxx methods, right? Find by first name, find by last name, like this you need to specify methods in repository layer, otherwise no need to specify. Okay, student service is also fine. I am running this application once, we will test with Postman so that you will get more idea about that. Okay, I am restarting this application. Yes, student service is also up and running with 8081 port. We will test through Postman now. Here first name is Thiru Academy I am providing, last name also Thiru Academy I am providing, email thiruhanmant@gmail.com, department ID I am providing 1052. Wait, will verify is it is available or not. Yeah, it is available. 1052 available, right? Okay, fine. I am sending that request. Yes, it is stored, and return that student object. Student ID is 1952. Yes, 1952. It is stored. Thiru Academy, first name and last name. Okay, then fine. We need to call get by ID, right? 1952. I am giving get 090. Okay, wait, 080. Okay, fine. This is fine, right? Student slash 1952. This is the get method, and I'm sending request here. See, information 1952 Thiru Academy, first name, last name, email, and department ID 1052. 1052 related department information MCA hyphen 105. Just now we have verified, right, in table. See, department address, this is the address, and department code is MCA hyphen 105, department name MCA. Okay, fine. These individual services are fine, we have completed coding. Okay, then coming to, we'll create one service registry now, then we'll see one by one procedure. Okay, I'm creating one more application now. File, new Spring Starter project. See here, I'm taking that service registry, application name, and dependencies are Spring Web I am taking, and one more dependency Eureka server I am taking. Eureka server, service registry, right? We need to register with server, that's why web dependency and Eureka server dependency I am taking here. In service registry, this is a Spring Boot application, right? Yeah. Yes. Application is created. We need to enable that Eureka server, right? So, Eureka server. Discovery server. enable some annotation is to enable discovery client. No, enable Eureka server. Yes, we have enabled this acting as server. We need to specify some properties in application.properties file by saying it is acting as server, right? See whatever the properties we have provided here, I'll explain you. Spring application name I'm taking as service registry, and Spring server.port is 8761. By default port of service registry is 8761. Same port I have taken here also. Instance name eureka.instance.host name, localhost I am taking. Okay, it is registering with eureka.client.register with Eureka false. Why? Because it is acting as server, right? This is not client, that's why false I have taken. And fetch registry also false, this is server. For server these two are false. For other application clients we need to take it as true. Okay, so fine. Service registry we have created successfully. We have created server successfully, but these two are the department service and student service are the clients, right? We need to add that dependency for that department service and student service. Okay, now I'll adding that discovery client dependency to that department service and student service. Yeah, how I am adding start.spring.io I am taking. See, dependencies Eureka discovery client I am taking. See, explore. Here we need to add dependencies. Sorry, close. Here Maven project we need to take, right? Mine. We need to select Maven, Java here, and we need to add discovery client, Eureka discovery client, explore. See, this is showing Maven, right? Dependencies. Here adding dependency and Spring Cloud version also very important. Okay, carefully we need to update in our pom.xml file. Okay, here Spring Cloud version. For student service also we need to add, right? Say for both same time I'm doing. Okay, see here saved, and here we need to take that Netflix Eureka client dependency. Yes, dependency I'm taking, at the end I'm adding. Okay, this is also fine. For student service also we need to add the dependency. Yes, fine. Next we need to add dependency management also. Carefully we need to add after dependencies tag, before build tag. Okay, after dependencies here. Fine. Yes, for department service also we need to add, right? Yes, fine. We have added, right? And we need to enable that by using @discovery client annotation in main class, right? Enable discovery client. See, this annotation we need to specify. To specify, this is the client application for service registry. For student service also we need to add. I am adding now for student service. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, I'll restart that application once and we'll test it once. Okay, I'm restarting that service registry and restarting that department service, restarting that student service. Yes, both applications are up and running. Okay, three applications are up and running. Wait. See here, service registry is running with 8761, right? We'll see. HTTP ://localhost 8761. See, we already said that these are the department service, student service, or clients for that service registry. Okay. Yes, right. It is up and running. These are registered with service registry. Okay. We'll test with Postman. One request will send. We'll see how we'll get the data. See, we are getting that simply with only student service port we have called now. Okay. Yes, we are getting that information, student information as well as department information. We are running these applications, all applications in one machine with local host, right? That's why we are getting information. We need to provide service registry information in clients as well, right? In some related to that, some properties we need to provide here. See what are those properties are. See, Eureka client configuration. See, host name is localhost, then it's fine, we are running with localhost host. Fetch registry true, register with Eureka true. These if we can't provide also fine. Why? Because these default values are true only. Okay. Service URL default zone. Eureka client information we need to provide with the registry information we need to provide, right? HTTP ://localhost, this is running with 8761/Eureka. This is the default value, default zone endpoint URI for service registry. Okay, we need to provide like this. For the student service also I am providing same information. Okay, fine, I have provided. Now I will run once again. Okay, I will run student service. Why? Because we have used REST template, right? If we get any exception or we need to rectify in this situation, right? That's why. Okay. Yeah, fine. We are getting information. See, we'll call with one more ID. Okay. 202. I have provided department ID. See, yes, we are calling keep on only one with only one ID, right? There may be a chance of caching option is also available in Spring Data API, right? If it is returning from cache, then that situations we need to rectify, right? That's why I have called with other department ID. Here we are getting 500 exception, internal server exception. In these situations, what we need to provide? We need to provide load balancer, right? For that purpose. See what is the exception we are getting? No value present. For previous MCA department value we are getting information. Why? Because it is returning from cache. Every time we are calling same department ID, right? That's why here for student service, here we are using REST template, right? See, here we need to provide load balanced annotation we need to provide. We need to by providing load balanced annotation, it is balancing that load balance. Okay, whenever we send that request, it needs to handle that, right? At a time more whenever we get more request at a time, it needs to be handled, right? That's why. Okay, we need to provide at the rate load balanced annotation. Wait, I'm restarting all applications once. Will run with other department ID. We'll see. Okay. Yes, all three applications are up and running, and after getting up, we need to check those in service registry. How many instances are provided, how many applications are up and running with what port. Okay, see, in service registry, department service, student service, both are up and running. Okay, fine, it is showing it is registered with service registry. We'll test it now through postman. Okay, we need to get this ID, right, department ID with 2002. I am sending now. Now also I am getting internal server error. See, Eureka. We'll see. Observe that we are getting exception 500 exception. See, no such value present exception we are getting. I'll send once more. See, no value present, no such element exception we are getting, right? Why? Because here we are using localhost here. We didn't changed. Here we are, after registering with service registry, we need to change that application name from localhost to application name. We need to modify. Here in department service, what we have provided, department service, right? We need to call that with department service in student service. Okay, see, department service. I am modifying this base URL. Instead of localhost, I am using this one, department service. Fine. I am restarting that student service. We'll see after restarting that application how it will work. See, the student service is up and running. We can verify in Eureka server. Here, see, both the department service and the student service up and running. Now we'll call get method. Here also same, we are getting internal server error. We'll verify. No need to worry. Here again we got 500 internal server exception. We'll verify once this ID is available or not in student table. Once, wait, table underscore student. Here is the student ID. Student ID is not available. We'll see 103. See how we will get the data. Here is we are getting that data, right? Like this, we need to provide that value. Here, whenever we got that exception, not found exception, we need to handle that exception. Here I have written that student not found exception. Okay, the class I have written. See here, initially in this line we are getting exception, right? Student ID not found. Here I have modified like this: student repository dot find by ID of ID dot RLs. If it's not found, RLs throw new student not found exception. Here student not found exception is the exception class. We need to define like this. Okay. Here we are getting student information also, right? Yes, till now we have seen about that service registry, department service and student service. Now we will create API gateway application. Okay. Yeah, file, new Spring starter project, gateway. Yeah, we need to modify that application name, right? Same gateway I am taking. Cloud gateway or anything, whatever you want, API gateway, you can take it. Okay, I am taking API gateway. Here I am specifying dependencies Eureka Discovery Client. This is also one of the client for our microservice architecture. Okay, Eureka Client, web, as well as gateway dependency we have to take. Yeah, this is a gateway. Actuator dependency also I am taking. ACTUA actuator, Spring Boot actuator is there, right? Yeah, I'm taking this one also. Okay, fine. Next, finish. Here we need to add some properties here. Why? Because we need to provide routing here, right? Every request needs to pass through gateway application. That's why we need to provide routing information here. That routing information, how I can pass it here? I'll look at application dot properties. We need to provide. See, this is the routing information we need to provide. Here student service is there, right? Route ID is student service. URI is LB is load balancer. Load balancer colon slash slash student service. With student service, for student service, any request will came with path student slash star star. Any path it can came, we need to pass through API gateway only. Okay, for this properties are spring.cloud.gateway.routes of 0. Here we are providing for department service also, right? That's why this is for student service I am taking 1. For a department service I am taking sorry, for student service I am taking O. For department service I am taking 1 routes of 1 routes of O. Like this I am providing. Okay, student ID for student service I am taking ID student service. For department service my ID is department service. URI is load balancer colon slash slash. For department service I am taking. Student service I am taking. This is the application names we have provided in student service and department services. Okay, for paths how we can how we have provided for student slash star star with any URI it came, we need to pass it through API gateway only for student service. Same way for department we need to we have provided endpoint URI as department slash star with any value came after department, we need to pass it through API gateway. Like that we need to provide properties in API gateway application. Okay, yes, we have created that gateway application and we are provided that routing information, and we forgot to provide that application name and register with Eureka client, those information, right? Application name I am providing as gateway and server.port I am providing as 9090. Okay, it is registering with Eureka client. We need to enable this all these properties. Why? Because this is acting as Eureka client. Okay, see here also we need to enable at the rate Eureka client. Here at the rate enable Eureka client, enable discovery client. Yes, fine, we have enabled. I am restarting that all the applications. We'll see, we'll restart that servers and we'll see once how it is we are getting with student information, department information with API gateway port number. Okay, we request needs to traverse through gateway, right? So we need to call that request with gateway port number. We'll see once after restarting that all the servers. Yes, all the applications are up and running with their respective ports, and we can verify in Eureka server also. Here see department service, gateway, student service, all are up and running, right? Gateway is running with 9090 port. Okay, application name we have provided gateway in small letters. We'll see once through, we'll run that we call the department service as well as student service through Postman. Okay, fine. This fine, right? With 80 not 8080 we'll call with 9090 90 department. We'll see one department ID here, department ID 1052. Fine, here I am giving 1052. See, we are getting information through gateway port number. We are traversing through gateway only. Okay, whenever user sends, that request will traverse through gateway. Same way we are doing here also. If you want to save some information also, then fine, you can save. Okay, we'll call one student information, student, student, student ID will we need to observe, right? 1 or 2. Yeah, we'll remove, fine, then it's fine. I'm sending some request. Yeah, we are getting information. Same way, save requests also will work. You can test it on your own. Okay. Yes, still now we have seen about that end user will send the request to department service, student service through API gateway, and we are all these services are registered with service registry. We have completed these 4, right? API gateway, service registry, department service, student service. Now we'll look into resilience 4J. How we can add, for example, we are sending request to student service. We need to get the department information also for student, right? In case, for example, student service is down at that moment. Okay, we need to send that some user defined message to the user, right? Some service is down, please try after some time, like that. In that purpose, we need to add that resilience 4J dependency. Okay, we'll use how we can use that resilience 4J dependency in our student service, how we can get send that user defined message. Okay, then we'll go with config server, then we'll see Zipkin server. Okay, fine, how we can add that we'll see now. Here resilience 4J we need to add, right? Discovery client, fine, add resilience 4J dependency. We are adding to, where is the dependency information? Here is our dependency information. We are adding this resilience 4J dependency to our student service object. Okay. Now where is that student service pom.xml file? We need to open it, right? Yeah, student service pom.xml file. Here we need to add that dependency. Yeah, I'm adding here. Fine. Okay, resilience 4J we have added. We have added dependency. Related to the dependency, we need to add some properties in properties file, right? Those properties are I'm adding now. Please check it. Okay, here these are the resilience 4J properties we need to add. For that, wherever we have used that dependency in that application, we need to provide here resilience 4J dot circuit breaker dot instances dot student service. This is the name we need to provide somewhere else. I will tell you. Okay, register health indicator to health indicator. How we can check that? We need to check health of that application, right? So that health indicator we are giving as true, and buffer size consumer event consumer buffer size we are providing as 10, and sliding window type count based, sliding window size 5, failure rate threshold 50% we are providing, wait duration in open state 5 seconds, permitted number of calls in half open state 3. What first we need to discuss about the name, not that properties, right? How what actually we, first of all we need to know, right, what is this, right? We'll discuss now. Yes, these are the resilience 4J properties need to provide in that application wherever we are providing using that resilience 4J. Here when coming to properties, register with health indicator indicates that it needs to be registered with resilience 4J component to specify that health indicator, or whether it is open or closed. Okay, event consumer buffer size, maximum size is 100. Here we are providing 10. Buffer size we are providing is 10. Okay, sliding window type here. Sliding window type is two types here. Two in Resilience 4J. The one is count based and other is time based. Count based is default value that we are providing here. Sliding window size 5 we are providing. Failure rate threshold 50 percentage we are providing. For example, when we take that state of that object resilience for you, first it will it is in a closed state. Then after sending a request to that bean or application, okay, it is a rate of that threshold value. First it is increased to first it is in closed state, right? Then it is transferred to half open, then it will move it to open state whenever requests are failing. Based on that threshold rate, it will come to close to half open, then half open to open state. Then again, whenever the success rate is increases, threshold rate is increases, then it comes to open to half open and closed. Okay, like this it is transforming. Okay, with a wait duration of state 5 seconds we are providing. Time duration between the request to request is 5 seconds. When a first request is failed, then it needs to be wait for 5 seconds to get to receive that request, another request, I mean. Okay, that time duration is wait duration in open state is whenever it is in open state, not in closed state. Okay, time duration is 5 seconds. Permitted number of calls in half open state, state of that is application is resilience 4J. In resilience 4J, state of that application is half open. We need to permit only 3 calls. Okay, 3 requests we need to permitting. We are permitting here. Okay, automatic transfer from open to half open is enabled true. It is whenever success rate is increases, it been moved half open to closed state. Automatically it is transforming. Okay, then these are the properties we need to use in resilience 4J. Yes, we have added properties, but we need to provide fallback method, right? For get department for student, sorry, get student with department. For this method, I am providing that fallback method here. Okay. For this method also we need to provide some circuit breaker information. Okay. Wait, I'll provide. Yes, I have provided that circuit breaker information like this. For providing circuit breaker information, we need to use that @ circuit breaker. Name of that breaker is student service. Here we have provided in application.properties, right? What is that? Is this student service? Yes. Here student service we have provided, right? This name we need to provide in circuit breaker. Here this is the name. That name and this name should be same. This is the method name. Fallback method name. Method name I have provided is fallback method. This now we need to discuss about completable feature object. This is it is providing that asynchronous communication. Here we are providing asynchronous communication with department service, right? Here we are sending that information from student service. Okay, asynchronous communication we are doing here. It won't wait for the response. We are sending. Okay, that's why we have used that completable feature object here. Method is also supply asynchronous. Async. This is the method we are using. Okay, to get that information value. Here if it is whenever we get the success information from the information from department service, it will return simply. It will return that object, whatever the information we have provided. We have collected some information right from student and department. It will return that information. Otherwise it will return simply, it executes that fallback method, whatever the method name we have provided here. This is the fallback method name we have provided. This method name, this name should be same as this name, method name. Okay, same this return type, this fallback method return type, both should be same. This is returning completable feature object, this is also returning completable feature object, feature of string value we are returning here. Okay, that's why I have prepared that string buffer object here. Whenever we get success rate, it is returning that sorry, student information with department. Okay, whenever we didn't get any information from department service, in that situations it won't get response, right? Immediately it will execute that fallback method, and it is returning that service is down, please try after some time. This message it will return. Okay, here we need to discuss about something, a retry and a timeout mechanism also. First of all, we'll run this application, how it will work. Resilience 4J we'll see now, and later on we'll see retry mechanism. Okay, I'm restarting that applications, service registry, gateway, all applications I'm restarting. Okay, once it is up, we'll test it through Postman, then we'll add that retry mechanism for our application. Okay, yes, all applications are up and running. Okay, we'll verify in Reka server. Okay, I'm refreshing. Yeah, all are up and running. We'll run through Postman. We are calling, we are sending request through API gateway only. Now I am giving student ID as 103. We'll see whether we are getting information or not. Yes, we are getting information. Okay, same way we'll send that department information. We'll get that department information also. Okay, gateway is 9090, right? Yes, 9090. We need one department ID 1053. This one, both are same. Okay, 1053 department endpoint URI. You should be very careful about that endpoint URI. Otherwise you will get 404 or 500 something exception we will get, we won't get any result. Okay, we are getting the department information also here. Our applications are working fine as we expected. Okay, then fine. Now we will add that some timeout mechanism for our student service application. For that we need to add some properties, right? These are the properties we need to add for our resilience for our circuit breaker in resilience 4J. Okay, this is the timeout property, resilience 4J dot time limiter dot instances dot student service. That name I have already explained why we have taken, where we have taken. Okay, timeout duration is 3 seconds, and retry mechanism is retry attempts are 3, and student service wait duration is 5 seconds. Here also we have taken 5 seconds. For retry, attempts is 3 and duration is 5 seconds. These are the property names we need to take. Okay, for a timeout, time limiter, this is the property we need to take. Okay, we no need to restart our applications. Why? Because this is application.properties file. Okay, now we will test this. Sorry, we need to provide some annotations in controller. Okay, student controller. Yeah, here we need to provide some annotations. We'll see. At the rate retry of name we need to provide. For this service name we are giving retry at the rate time limiter. Yeah, for this also we need to provide name for which service, we are providing a time limiter, right? We need to provide. For student service, we are providing. Yeah. Now we have modified Java code, right? So we need to restart our application. I am restarting student service application. We'll see after restarting, we'll test through Postman. Yes, student service is up and running. Will run once. Here, student, right? I am sending request. Yeah, we are getting 503 service unavailable. We'll see how we are getting. We'll see. Service unavailable. No service, no servers available for service, student service. Okay. Yes, we'll send one more time request. Yeah, we are getting response, right? Whenever servers are busy, we'll get that type of response. Once again, we'll send one more ID. I am sending 1952. Yes, we are getting response, right? Yes. Till now, we have seen about service registry, API gateway, department service, and one more thing, resilience 4J. Now we'll see config server. Okay. I'm creating application config server. System getting slow. Okay, fine. I'm providing config server. Okay. Next, client. I'm taking Eureka Discovery client. I'm taking, and one more dependency, config cloud config dependency. I'm taking. Where is that? Cloud config. Bootstrap I'm taking. One more. Cloud config, Spring. Yeah, config client, not config client, config server we need to take. Okay, config server. Yeah, config client, config server. Next, file. Yeah, application is created. We need to enable that config server is discovery client, right? Bootstrap service, gateway, service registry. Yeah, first one, config server. Yes, fine, sorry. Config server, we need to provide enable config server and enable discovery client. This is acting as client and this application acting as config server. Okay, fine. Here this is the config server, right? We need to provide that some properties related to that config server. I am providing that information. Yes, here application dot port I am providing as 9091 for config server, and application name I am providing as config server. Here we have taken bootstrap dependency, right? For that I have created that bootstrap.properties file and provided information like that spring.cloud.config.enabled. Here we have provided that spring config server information we need to provide, right? For that purpose, cloud config enabled true. We have provided somewhere else that properties. We need to read it, right? Cloud enable spring config cloud enabled, and cloud config URI I am providing as http://localhost:9091. This is the application port 9091. Here we need to provide that some properties. Okay, yes, first we are providing that Eureka client information. Okay, This is the register with, this is the Eureka client, right? That that purpose we are providing these information. Registering with Eureka true, this is the default value, whether we have provided or not provided, no issue. Okay, I am providing now here. Okay, fetch registry true and host name local host I am providing here. About these properties we already discussed. Okay, I am saving this information and I am restarting these applications. Once we have this is a config server, right? I am starting that config server. Yes, this whenever we started that config server, if you are using Git profile, you need to set that Git URI information. If you have set Spring Cloud config server bootstrap, we have provided that bootstrap information, right? Here true, see this value, bootstrap enabled, right? So we need to provide that Git information here. Yes, this is the properties need to provide here whenever we have stored our information in Git location. Okay, this is the spring.cloud.config.server.git.uri, Git information. This is the location which I have provided here. See, this is the information I have provided. See, this is the main value. We need to read it from Git. These are the default values, not last one. These two are default information. Okay, see, we need to read those properties values from Git. Here we no need to provide this information. Okay, yeah, sorry, these information we need to provide in application.properties file. Okay, yeah, fine. Bootstrap also fine. I am restarting all the applications. Service registry, gateway, yes, config server, department service, student service, same. Yes, all applications are up and running. We can check it in Eureka server. Okay, fine. See here, config server, department service, gateway, student service, all are registered as Eureka clients for that Eureka server. Okay, fine. We'll run our application through Postman. Okay, I'm getting that student information for that ID 1952. Here we are getting service unavailable. We'll send request one more time. We'll see. Previously also we got same response. Yeah, we got information for student. Okay, we forgot to test our resilience 4J. Now we will test. Okay, these are department information, right? We are getting department information also. Now I am suspending the department service. I am stopping that department service. Okay, fine. See, this is down, right? Department service is down. I am sending request. Okay, through API gateway for student service now. Okay, see how we are getting that response. See, service is down, please try after some time. We are getting, right? Here student controller, we have provided that information, bad request. If you want, you can create that response status for this method also. Response status not bad request. Here accepted. Okay, here accepted, here bad request. Okay, fine. From this immediately whenever it will went to service, it is calling here, it is calling that department service through REST template. Here it won't get department information, then immediately it will return to the controller and immediately it will executed that fallback method and returning that message saying service is down, please try after some time. Okay, we have tested our resilience 4J also, dependency also. Okay, here. Okay, then fine. Now, till now we have discussed all except Zipkin. Config server we have discussed, department service, student service, API gateway, service registry. Now we'll go with Zipkin server. Okay, how we can use Zipkin? See, this is the official site they have provided for Zipkin. Here Zipkin I'm installing, I'm explaining through jar file, not that Docker. Okay, I don't have installed in my machine. Okay, I am downloading that jar file, release status, and it is downloading, and I am running this jar file through command prompt. Okay, I am opening that command prompt. Yeah, here we need to go with downloads, right? cd space downloads. It is in downloads folder. There it is. It is downloaded Zipkin file, jar file. We need to provide java-jar Zipkin. Whatever the jar file name, we need to provide it here. Then press enter. It is going to run. Yeah, this is the port number 9411. 9411. Okay, see, http://localhost 9411. Okay, here we need to run the query. We didn't get any responses, right? Because why? Because we didn't transformed our logs to Zipkin. For that purpose, we need to provide one dependency. I'll show you. Here I forgot to add that property in API gateway. What is that? Config server, it is running with 9091 port. We need to specify in gateway, right? This is also one of the client for gateway, right? So we need to specify. I have added this dependency, and regarding that tracing, for tracing logs in Zipkin server, we need to add this property in all our applications. Management.tracing.sampling.property equal to 1.0. That means 100% of logs will be traced in Zipkin server. Okay, we need to add this property for all our applications. Okay, I am adding this property for student service. For a gateway already added. For config server I am adding. For department service I am adding. Here we need to comment this commands properties here. Why? Because no need of that. We are reading those properties from Git location, right? That's why we have to comment this one. Eureka client information. In student service also we need to comment those properties. Sorry, I forgot at that moment. Okay, fine. We have commented. Fine. We have added. Okay. Then I am restarting the department service also. Yes, it is up and running. We'll test now through Postman. Okay, see, I am sending student service. I am sending request to student service. Get request I am sending. Service is down. Please try after some time. 200 status 200. We'll send one more time. Okay. First of all, we'll see in Eureka server whether it is up and running. Okay, it is up and running. Now, sorry. Now I am sending. Yeah, we are getting response. Same way you can test it for department service also. Why? Because we are calling, I have tested only student service. Why? Because we are calling department service through postman. We are sending request through API gateway only. But from student service we are calling department service. That's why I am sending request to student service only. We are getting information and will see the logs now. Yeah, we are not getting. Yes, wait a second. Yes, all applications are running with their respective ports. Now we are testing through postman. Okay, I am sending request to student service. Here we are getting response. Okay, we need to trace our logs in Zipkin server, but we are not tracing. We have missed something. What is that? We forgot to add Zipkin dependency in service in our services. Okay, now I am adding. Close Zipkin. Zipkin dependency we need to add in our student service dependency. See, this is the micrometer, it coming with micrometer for tracing. Micrometer tracing bridge brave dependency we need to add, and this one also Zipkin reporter brave. These two we need to add. Actuator also it came. Okay, I'm adding these dependencies in our student service. See where it is. This is the student service. Here I need to add. If you want, we can add it in all applications, but I have placed the logs in this one student service only. That's why I'm adding to student service depend pom.xml. Okay, fine. I need to refresh the application. We'll see. First I'll refresh and test it. If it's not traced, then we will restart our servers. Okay, fine. I'm sending request. We got response. Finally I'll run the query. No, result didn't came. I'll restart that servers. Okay, after that we'll see. First I'll restart service registry, then gateway, then config server, then student service and department service. If it's still after restarting also still it didn't came, we need to provide that bootstrap. We forgot to provide that bootstrap information. We'll see after this one by one. Okay, yes, we have added the Zipkin dependency in student service as well as in gateway as well as in our services. We need to trace our logs, right? I'm testing through postman. Here get request we are sending to student service, and we are getting response. Okay, and we need to trace this. Here Zipkin server is already in running with 9411 port. Here I am sending running query. See, these are all the requests I have sent in fast few minutes. Few seconds ago we have requested, right? Gateway, this is the service name, HTTP get request. Here we can show the details also. We can see the details from where it is getting that request and all these details. Span ID, parent ID none, like the service name, gateway, uh, gateway get request. Like this we can trace our log information. Okay, here wherever required I have added. And one more thing, this is the mandatory attribute we need to add, tracing property in application dot all application dot properties file. And I have added one more thing, this bootstrap dot properties file information is there, right? Cloud information, that cloud information I have added this information to all the services. Okay, department service I have added for department service, and for gateway also I have added, and for service registry also I have added, and for same way, and for student service also I have added that bootstrap information. Okay, fine. Let's give you a brief recap of sorry, small recap of, about this is, whenever user sends a request is sending, is passing through API gateway. Okay, through API gateway we are sending request to student service. From student service we are calling that department service. Whenever our department service is down, we are sending a user defined message to end user saying that service is down, please try after some time. Like that we are sending user defined message. These are all the services, config server, department service, student service, API gateway, all are services. All services are registered with service registry. Okay, here we have discussed about Zipkin as well as resilience 4J. Zipkin is useful to trace our logs, just now we have seen. See this one. Okay, one more thing, resilience 4J. Whenever our service is down, we need to send that user defined message, right? For that purpose we have used resilience 4J in student service. Okay, then fine. Here first we have created the department service, student service. This is the business area we have created first. Then we added these two requests to service registry. Then we have created that API gateway. Here we have provided all the routing information related to our services. Then we have created that cloud config, that is config server. We have stored our properties in Git location and we have read from there. Then we have configured Zipkin server. If you really like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. If you want this source code, please let me know in the comment section. I'll provide you Git link. Okay, thank you for watching.